1 second here. All right, we'll give it just a couple of seconds here. I think I hit the countdown twice.
Oh, it's like a replay.
It's a replay. Take two. All right, so we are live, and everybody, look who I've got. I've got Deanne from Blue Crescent Tarot, who has. I am honored to have on the channel and ask her to join me. So we've been planning this for quite a while. So thank you guys for being here, and I will talk to Deanne in just a moment, and we'll say our hellos first, and then we're going to do a little bit of a chat with her, and then go forward from there with the readings. But if you would wait on putting in the readings as usual, until we're done with the chat, I really appreciate it. And let me see here. Let's see who we got. Get out my magic wand. All right, I'm going to have to use YouTube because it only takes me back so far.
I know, I was going to say.
Jackie Jacaranda's here.
Jackie.
And Lisa Rose. Hey, Lisa. And Natalie at Mystical Thorn. And Seashells. Hi, Seashells. I haven't seen you for a little while. Welcome, welcome. Teresa is here. Hug a greeter. Welcome, Teresa. And Lena is here. And Beck is here. And Lady Silver came in, but she had to go. But she's watching on replay. So hi, Lady Silver on replay. I'll try to turn this a little bit. There we go. And Wendy is here. Hello, my dear Wendy. And let's see. Still scrolling. Miss Tarot D is here. Hey, Miss Tarot D.
Hello.
And I know you don't know this ginger person. Do you know this ginger person?
I don't know. I've seen her a couple places. I'm just really not sure about her.
I'm not either. We'll put her on standby unless we need to keep her on. I'm kidding. We know Ginger. Yes. Everybody's new. They'll be like, what are they doing?
We love Ginger.
We love Ginger. Yes, we do. Okay, and let's see. Scrolling. Warrior Girl's here. Hey, Warrior Girl. And I think I'm all caught up. So I will go over here to the comments and go down. All right. So just a little bit of housekeeping before we get into the chat, just like normal. We will be doing an introduction and a chat with Deanne in just a few minutes. If you're new, then welcome. And if you're watching on the replay, welcome as well. Just make sure you subscribe if you want to chat, because you need to do that for 5 minutes before you're able to chat. It's totally free, so please subscribe. And please sub to Deanne, and her link is down below for you. I put it in there. So please, you're very welcome. Please sub to her. She has a wonderful channel that we're going to talk about in a minute. And again, no questions until I get notice. Please, I appreciate your great cooperation on that. And then we will go in random order as always. If you want to show your love and support, there are links down below, and you can go to the top of the list. Just let Jackie know and that you've donated, and Jackie will let me know so that we can do your questions as fast as possible once we get started here. And also, when we get started, please no political, legal, health, or third party. And if you'll type in all caps and emojis. And if you guys want to get out a pen and paper, and I think that's always great if you're going to ask a reading, because that way you can keep it and kind of look at it later and see if it matches up. Is that the right word? If it correlates with what you're going through the week. That's a better way to say it. All right, so Deanne, you have a wonderful channel that I've been watching for about 2 years at least, I think now.
Yeah.
And can you tell me more about what you do on your channel and what it's about?
So my channel, like the frequency that I am putting out content or showing up live, not that there's not content in my live streams, but I kind of view them as like different things, but we'll talk about that too. Um,
Right.
I it's basically dictated on my personal life, which probably most people could say that. And I have two young kids. I have a 5-year-old son and a 1-year-old, almost 1-year-old daughter. She'll be one next month. And
Wow.
so through these phases of life and some craziness that I was dealing with in 2022, I had to be offline for a long time.
Right.
Now I'm kind of sporadically back. So if I see people saying in the chat that they've subbed, and thank you so much, there's plenty for you to check out, even though I'm not on all the time right now. It'll just be like little surprise pop ons for a while. But I so appreciate the subs. And like I said, there's a lot there. So basically, um, a couple of the larger things that I have going are um, like the Kim Kranz Archetype series. I'm not done with it yet, but there are something like 38 sessions of that, and those are all done live. But it's worth the rewatch because I incorporate what people in the chat are contributing as well, like their experiences with the archetypes, whether they're prevalent or absent from their life, is kind of the premise. So, um, the first handful of those sessions don't include a reading at the end with other cards. But after a while, I started drawing like a tarot and an oracle card to go with whatever archetype we were studying that day, or studying, kind of chatting about. It's really informal. Um, so it's I think that made it even more interesting. You know, as time went on, we started doing that. So people really seem to love that. And when I'm able to get back on a more regular schedule, I will resume those sessions. But like I said, now there's a ton there to dig into for anyone that's interested in that. I
And
also,
I'm gonna have to check that out because I actually got that archetype type deck after you have done your sessions on them. So I'm gonna have to go
yeah,
back and look at your
it's
sessions. I'm excited because I like
it's
that
so
deck.
great.
I'm not a big Kim
Yeah,
Kranz fan, but I
yeah.
really love that deck.
I think it'll align with, you know, stuff that you're interested in for sure. It's really awesome. So that's one kind of bigger thing that I have going there. And then my other kind of regular live thing that I was doing was Casual Fridays.
Yep.
It's morphed into other days of the week at certain times. But anytime you see it say casual Wednesday, casual Thursday, anything like that, that's just was my kind of regular weekly hangout. Um, Talking to tarot friends. The reason I started my channel was to just connect in ways beyond being in chat. And I just had things I wanted to share. I also really love a good VR. So some of the more recent tags and VRs I've done will say mystery VR. And that means we wrote them down on a piece of paper and like drew them out of a box. And then I did the VR on the spot. So there's like maybe 2 or 3 of those that I did a couple months ago. So that was a fun thing to do. And then I'm just kind of pulling decks and kind of trying to answer as we go. So I don't know. I guess me in a nutshell, just kind of sharing some thoughts and really interested in what other people experience as well, and just kind of casual hangouts surrounding tarot, oracle, Lenormand.
That's awesome. Yeah, and your videos that you do, your lives are so laid back. So I wanted you on here
Yeah,
because they really are, and they're really great. They're just fun. It's fun just to watch you, even if you're like talking to your son. It doesn't matter. It's just like Max, hi, and you're very interactive with the chat. So I try
yeah,
to do that too. So I love that you do that.
yeah.
So
It's a hangout basically. You never know what's going to happen.
right, right, exactly. But that's part of the fun, I think,
Yeah.
as well. Tell me about your crystals. You said you have a lot of crystals, and I know you've showed some before.
Yeah, so I have when I was doing readings in person in a shop, the that shop started out as a crystal store, and then it grew into like a metaphysical boutique. And so I was surrounded by crystals when I was doing my readings because the shop owner has, you know, big gorgeous collection of her own, plus she was selling crystals in there. So I have a lot of you know, like handheld stones, plus a lot of bracelets. So my favorite crystal is probably a labradorite, but I have all different kinds for, different days, just like my decks, a lot of different decks for different days, as I like to say.
Right.
And I'm kind of the same way with crystals, just kind of going to whatever I'm drawn to. So, um, yeah, there's often, like in some of my pre recorded videos, you'll see like bracelets making the border. So I know where I am in the shot. Um,
Right.
but yeah, I kind of have treasures all around me in my little tarot room. So though today I'm not in the tarot room, I'm hiding from my daughter because she does not like when I go away. And so she would be able to see because my tarot room has French doors on it. And so if I sat there, she would just be screaming outside the door. So I'm downstairs in my husband's studio. So there's guitars back there. I don't know if you can see.
Oh yeah.
So there's the nice background, but you can't really see it. But today I've just brought a couple decks downstairs with me, but normally I'm, shrouded in little treasures all around, including lots of crystals.
Right. That's awesome. Yeah. I
Yeah.
noticed you weren't in the same room. That makes sense though.
You're like, where did she go? I've run
Where did
away.
you go? New house? No. That's cool. So yeah, have you heard of the Crystal Magic Tarot? I think it's newer.
No, I have not.
This is fantastic. So I chose this as one to read with today because I knew you love crystals, and it
Nice.
has for every 78 card, it has a crystal to go with it, and it just correlates them in the book and everything. I haven't read with it much before, but
That's
Emerald Buddha. I don't know if Emerald Buddha's in here or not, but that was a present from her. So
wow, that's so nice. Yeah, the deck that I used for those for in-person readings in the shop, probably
right,
90% of the time was called the Crystal Tarot by Philip Hermut. And it also had a crystal related to each card. I know some will have like one per suit, but that one, like the one that you just held up, has like a different one for each card, which is really great. And those are so
yeah,
in my head that it's interesting to see what other crystal decks say. And I have a couple. I have the AGM, like crystals and gemstones deck, and I got that
right.
purely to see what they chose. And then I have like a side by side in my Bell planner that tells like what the different cards are, just because I love all those different associations.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. They use a little bit of the crystal on each card, as you can see here.
Oh,
But then
nice.
it says at the bottom, it tells you what crystal
That's
that it
cool.
represents. So I'll show you a couple there.
Very cool.
Yeah, so
Oh,
it's got
yeah.
it fully illustrated, which I love too. So I know you like Marseille type decks also, don't you?
I do. I just like a little bit of everything, which is a little dangerous for my collection. But, yeah, I like most things. There are a few specific types that I don't like, and that's really it. Like anything that's kind of extra, like I've said before, I don't really like zombie decks,
Right.
with the exception of like Orshi's Zombie Oracle because it's so expansive and relatable, and it's not
Right.
just like a picture of a zombie doing something. Like things like that are like extreme in that way. I think those are the only things I really kind of don't care for. But man, anything else, spacious tarot that has no people in it, people decks, I'm picky about the how the person is depicted artistically. That's
Right.
another picky thing, but like I love animal decks, Marseille, playing cards. Just I'm kind of like wide open for all of that.
And you like Lenormand as well, don't you?
I love Lenormand.
Do you?
Yes. Yeah, I
I
love
only
a
have
big
two.
tableau.
Yeah, I have two. I have the Chiro Marchetti. Do you have that one? The gilded something? No,
I actually don't have that one, but I
that
know
one's
what you're
really
talking
cool.
about.
And then I have an old fashioned one. It's like old fashioned one. And then I have
Nice.
a Kipper deck. Are you into Kipper decks at all?
I have one Kipper
I
deck,
have one.
which I have not yet used in the Kipper fashion. I've used it a couple times, like as a Lenormand, because I don't know, like there are people more than just like the main significators, and I don't. I haven't studied that yet. So I have the one because it was created by Stephen Bright, and I just think he's an awesome
Yeah.
human. It's called the Rainbow Kipper, and so I purchased that solely because I love Stephen. But that's it. That's the only one I have.
Didn't he do the spirit with? Is it the spirit within?
Yes.
The
Yep.
one with the silhouettes. I have
Yes.
that.
Yep. And his Kipper deck is modeled after that with the same kind of color coding.
Really?
And so it makes
Sounds
it
interesting.
simpler. It can teach you in a different way because of that color coding. So he put the different,
Right.
like, I don't want to say suits, but like the different types of cards in Kipper into those different color codes, so that when you have it laid out in a grand tableau, you can see really quickly the different types of cards that you have out, if that makes sense. So that was another thing that's really interesting. So that's another reason I got it, but all under the umbrella of he's an awesome person. So.
Gotcha. Yeah. I love how it's color coded, and it has like each of the suits as a different color. And
Right.
he puts that in the background, so I really like that.
Yeah.
Did that
Yep.
that way. Makes me think of chakras. And just opens up like a whole new world for me.
Right. So then you just immediately know, okay, this is that category. And then you can kind of map it out like quicker when you just take a big glance at it, quick glance.
Jane wants to know, do you and hi Jane, do you use runes, Deanne?
I do. I have a couple sets. I have a crystal set that my dance students got me probably like 10 or so years ago, and that was the one I used for a really long time. That was the only set that I had. And then I bought at some point a kit that had some in with the book, but I actually haven't used those. I've read the book, but I haven't used those stones. They're just like in the kit still. But then I also got a set from Sandra at Spirit of Avalon. She sent me some witches runes from Glastonbury, and so for the past couple of years, I've been using those, switching on and off between my crystal ones and those witches runes. So yeah, I have charms. I love casting on a bunch of
Mm-hmm.
cards. I like doing big like Romney spreads. I love layering different tarot decks together. And I see Jackie says Deanne loves mini decks too, and I'm holding one right now.
Yeah, yeah, I knew that too. I'm glad
I
you
brought
pointed that out, though.
Yeah, I brought two decks down here with me today, and one of them is a mini Prisma Visions mini.
Do you have the white sage?
I do.
Jane says
Yeah,
she wants to get that really bad.
yeah, that's a really nice one, and that has chakra associations with it as well. There's like a ribbon in each of the cards, and that's another a layer there too. I think Jane would love that.
Right. I love that there's so many different, types of. It's not just tarot. You can just go further and further in oracle, and then you can expand out into
Yeah.
Lenormand, and then the different types of tarot, right? The Thoth and the Marseille.
Yeah.
I just haven't learned that. Like I'm not at that point, so I stick to pretty much Rider Waite Smith, but variations of it is what I pretty much stick with. But I like to learn other systems as well as just being able to read with them.
Right.
The issue, but I have different system decks. It's just I kind of keep them as collection there because I'm a collector.
Right.
So
Yeah, I love it.
all right, so if you want to, we can go ahead and take some questions.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah, so I'll start starring you guys again. If you will, just make sure that you put your questions in all caps for me in emojis. I would appreciate it. So I can make sure that I can star you. Got one already. So I've got Lena. So if I say your name, I have got you. Natalie, who has the new channel, and everybody, please subscribe to Natalie. She has little content coming out hopefully soon, and I'm going to try to get her on with me as well. So she was looking at mini decks as well.
I love minis.
I've got Miss Tarot D. I've got you. I've got Warrior Girl. I've got Grace. I've got a Jump in the Chat. I got Wendy. I got seashells, mystical thorns, and Natalie. Hey, Swampy, welcome. Swampy63. Okay, Beck, I got you. I don't remember saying hi to you, Beck. Hi, if I didn't say hi. And I've got Samantha. So we'll probably go ahead and close the list for now because that will probably take us to at least an hour, I would say.
Okay.
Let's see. Welcome, Karen. She says she watches and lurks and she's new here. So welcome. I'm glad to have you in the chat. All right. And let me see.
I'm laughing at Kristen and also
What
Jane
did she
because
say?
I knew Jane would notice my deck sniffing. So bad.
Oh, it's her husband's birthday. Oh my gosh, That's funny. Yeah, she was like, Saturday. What's Saturday?
I know sometimes we're so focused. We're like, what could that be about? And we just, you know, the easiest thing.
I'm gonna trip on something. What's gonna happen? And yeah, it's your hubby's birthday. That's awesome. I love that. Hey, make sure I didn't miss anybody. You said Jane said something to you that made you laugh.
Yeah, because she did hashtag deck sniffer because I was.
Yeah, you are.
I was grounding myself with the Prismavision smell.
That's just Deanne right there. So if you be the deck sniffer, I have a time or two, but I don't.
My ritual.
That's cool. Yeah, you take in the aura of it, right?
Right. Debbie.
Let me see here. Hey, Debbie. I have lurking. Okay, wanted to make sure that wasn't a question. And Debbie's here. Aquarius Owl. Okay, so we can go ahead and start here. And guys, as you know, I won't be looking at the chat when we're doing the readings. So just keep in mind that if you put anything to me, you can also tell Jackie or any of the other moderators, Wendy, and they'll be able to get that to me once we get in between the questions. So let's go ahead and start with Lena.
Perfect.
General reading. The next, was it 6 months?
8.
8 months. That's what I thought, but my eyes are going. So, like 6 or 8 in finances and love. Okay.
And I'm gonna do. Are you doing one card and then I'm doing one?
Sure, we can do it that way. That's fine.
It's up to you. I brought a couple options with me. I just want to make sure.
Yeah, we can do 1 and 1 if you want to, and if you have any oracles you want to throw in there as well, whatever you want to do, it's up to you.
Okay.
I might put more than one, just depending on what card it is, if it makes sense as a clarifier. So
yeah,
but you feel free to do whatever you would like to do. This is once you're on my channel, this is your channel. So.
Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I have the Neutral Vibes Tarot by Matt Green. That's
cool.
The regular one I'm using. And then possibly in addition, using the mini Prismavisions by James R. Eaves.
Awesome. I had the regular size one.
Oh, yeah.
And the other one, I forgot what it was. The other one is like the tarot, but it's like afterlife tarot. The green one.
Cosmovisions.
Cosmo, thank you. I remember. So as a guest, I'll let you go first and what you want me to. So.
I'm good. Let's see here. So we have for the next 8 months, the Strength card, number 8. So
awesome.
This is I like to explain this as sort of a mini or like a precursor to the Temperance card. So in some ways for me, strength is our daily practice about, and something we always come back to because I think temperance is impossible to sustain for most people living in the quote unquote regular world. So I feel like strength is the homework that we do to achieve temperance. And temperance for me at the most basic level would be just this easy flow, always being in the perfect stead of receiving and giving and tempering mind and heart. And sometimes we can achieve that, but I feel like strength is more is the day to day, is the struggle and the work that we put into that. And maybe I don't want to say struggle, but it's about integrating these, the more instinctual self, the part of the self that is like the lion, and the part of the self that is um, more thoughtful and intentional and less impulsive. And we need both of these things working together. And so deciding when to be each part, when to highlight. Not that we're completely changing ourselves, Jekyll and Hyde, but when do we go with the instinct, and when do we take a step back a little bit and wait and think and then speak or act or something like that. So to put this in context for you, Lena, I would say that when we're talking about finances, this would be knowing when to spend, when to save. It's a little bit about when to go, when to stop. So being really intentional and writing things down or typing things up in a spreadsheet, be really intentional about your finances, and that will yield the best reward for you. And then in love, I would say that strength is about not settling. um, it would also be about finding someone who is self-aware and works on this balance for themselves as well. And then that would be again reaping the best reward for yourself.
Love that. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So going off of what Deanne said, I got the Three of Wands for your finances. I put one for finances and one for love, just since you had two questions there. So the first one, Three of Wands. So that's all about action. And I love how Deanne said, do a spreadsheet, not just a budgeting, do a spreadsheet and make sure that this is an action card. So it requires action for you to make sure that you're keeping your finances in order. So I think it's important for you to take time for your finances and really look and see where you can make some cutbacks, just where you can budget, where you can, and then that way that's going to make you more successful to have more later on when you do need it. Okay. And for love, I've got the Nine of Pentacles. So woohoo. I mean, this is a great card. This is like the spa day card, as someone used to say. This is the spa day card where you just take yourself out and treat yourself. And if you want to know what this is for love, I would say that she has what she needs already. So I think that just manifesting what you need, you have that ability and that power already to do that. So just keep doing that, and look at the hearts on her dress there. So she is full of love. She is complete as she is. But once you do that, and once you allow that to come in, where you're just full of love for yourself, that's when someone else can come in as well. And you can be 100% in what you're giving for them and what you're receiving as well. So that's what I got for you.
I drew one more just to kind of close this up and just for kicks.
Awesome.
And Ace of Swords is what I drew when I came down here just about today's readings. And this Ace of Swords is so beautiful, and there's snow in the background and ice. And I always think about Elle from Sacred Seed, who said that the sword it comes to a point and it's about cutting away and clarifying your thoughts, whereas the wands are about expanding your thoughts. So while you're working on and expecting things for finances and love over the next 8 months, just to make it a really simple message, just be clear about what you want for those things. Think about what you want. Very simple, but just to the point, like a sword, right? Just stay clear-minded about what you expect, and then that's what you accept.
Awesome. Thank you, Deanne. Thank you, Lena, for your question. All right, so we'll go ahead. start that. And guys, if we don't get to your question, I will be doing some readings tonight as well at 8 o'clock, but we will try to get to all, but we have quite a few here. So let's go with Miss Tarot D, general for the week. Alrighty. Miss Tarot D, are you still here? I'm sure she is, just in case. Sip, sip, said somebody. Ginger. And if everybody knows in my lives that sip, sip means to take a drink, and the reason is this one right here. That is the reason we say sip, sip, is because of Deanne. So she came up with it.
I stole it from Max, my son. Sort of.
Oh, dude, yeah.
He morphed it from, he used to say, everybody take a sip. And then he kept shortening it, and it sounded like sip, sip. So then I just started saying that.
I love that.
And yes, I see Miss Tarot D there.
Yes, I saw you as well. Thanks, Miss Tarot D. And hope you're feeling better as well. Didn't know you were down a little bit there, Miss Tarot D, so hope you're feeling a lot better.
Okay.
Jackie says she loves Max.
He's so awesome. Oh, nice. Okay. So, I have the Wheel of Fortune, which is one of these cards that's like, it's an in-between, it's a maybe, it's a, things are changing. And so sometimes it kind of feels like a little bit of a cop-out, but I mean, the wheel is life, okay? And it's kind of like that, hang on, things are coming around, you know what I mean? Just hold on, and you're doing good. And, even if you're not feeling well because of everything you're going through, the wheel it's coming back around. And to accompany this, I have the World from the Prisma Visions. So I'm going to do a close-up here because how amazing this card is. So all of the beautiful color. And of course, with the World being that end, like that circular completion, and the wheel being like the halfway point to that, I think this is amazing. So look at those circles in the middle, like a vortex, like the completion and the totality of everything. So when I said, the wheel, comes up, and sometimes we're like, oh, things are changing. Okay, that's like a really simple message. But it's a reminder again, I said that's life. And then the World card is here. So all of this beauty and growth and expansion and ability to flourish is coming. And right now it might feel like this kind of tricky halfway point where you look back at everything you've accomplished, but you look ahead and it feels like there's still so far to go. The World jumping in here makes me feel like it's going to turn around like quicker and more powerfully than you might expect. So that's what I would say for that one. Just this sort of like swirling completion and magic coming up that maybe sooner than you thought.
Awesome.
Two majors too, right?
Two majors. That's awesome. And it's so cool how they looked similar in the middle with the circle.
Yeah. I was going to say, for anyone who hangs out in my archetypes, you'll know that I draw cards from like 3 different decks and they'll all look like exactly the same.
That's awesome, though. It works that way.
Love it.
All right, so Ms. Tarot D, I pulled one for you, and then I pulled one from the bottom of the deck, and they go hand in hand. The first one you got is the King of Wands. This is the King of Integrity, is what I think of him. This is the one that has the passion and the he will speak the truth no matter what. So I feel like your throat chakra is going to come into play during the next week, that you're going to be able to, like Deanne says, you're going to be going through some changes, and it might be time to speak up about something. in a loving way. And I'm not sure at work or wherever it would be, but you probably know what that situation is. And you need to stand up and say, okay, well, I want to do it this way, or I want to look at things this way. Let's compromise because you got this, and then you got the what I think is very close to the major card of the King of Wands, the Emperor. Okay, so he was on the bottom of the deck sitting there, and that Emperor is all about authority as well as speaking out, and just it's about kind of gaining um, what you're earning, right? And is that right, Deanne? And you know these cards a lot better than I do. Is it
No,
more
you're
about
good.
like he has earned where he is, and
Yes.
yet he has the authority, over others because of what he's achieved, and just to make sure that you're being humble, which I know you are, but he's all about gentleness and being humble and doing it in a not a totalitarian way, but in a more giving way. And
Right.
he speaks his mind, though, right?
Right. And I do feel like a lot of people have a little bit of a pullback with the emperor sometimes because just
Mm-hmm.
because of life and maybe people that we see as those figures we maybe have not had positive experience with. But when it comes up for ourself, we have to remember that every card is positive and negative and everything in between. And that emperor, when I see, there's always, not always, usually red in an emperor card, and I love that that emperor was wearing red and against the background. It was so contrasted, and that made me feel
Right.
like personal power, right? Um, like Miss Tarot D is coming into this personal power, and with the King of Wands, that energy. When you said, speak up, that those together. I mean, look at that. Like the clothing is on fire. It's like
Yeah.
I'm, I have this idea. Um, for my wellness or for my work or whatever it is, and I'm going to speak that and step into that power and be really confident in boundaries you create and boundaries that you push past. That's what those two cards together make me think. It's a lot of self empowerment there, I think.
I love that self empowerment. And you guys will see me bounce off of Deanne and ask her opinion because I've been doing tarot for about 2 years and she's been doing it for a lot longer. And so she's one of the ones that when I came into the community at first that I learned from. So
Oh,
I'm
well,
still,
thank you.
yeah,
Well,
definitely.
you're doing great. You're right on it. So, you know, that's
Thank you.
awesome.
All right. So I hope that helps us, Tarot D. And I do hope you start feeling better very soon.
Yes.
All right. And she said, wow, yeah.
Yay.
Okay, perfect.
Very
All
welcome.
right. Warrior Girl would love a reading. All right. Oh, I have to just
Let's
show
figure it out.
something real quick here. She said that I mentioned the throat chakra, and mine is very, our throat, and hers is very scratchy today. That was very interesting. I
Hmm.
find when mine is very scratchy, there's something I need to say. So I don't know if you felt that way, Deanne, but that's what I feel like with the throat chakra a lot of times. Or I need to
Yes.
listen. There's something in the communication process that I might
Yep.
be missing.
When you were talking about, there's something, to speak up, um, that's what I was thinking too. Like if you have an idea that you think, oh, I think this is going to help me, I think I should say this, where you're kind of, because sometimes there are times where we shouldn't say the thing, right? I feel like with those cards that came up, especially Miss Tarot D, if you get that where you're like a little on the fence, step right into it and say it. It's that forward kind of energy for sure.
Awesome.
Okay, so for Warrior Girl, I have the Knight of Cups.
Mm.
And so we have the knight, as compared to the page, we have action, we have direction. We have a horse now, so we can get places a little quicker. We can kind of put some of the plans we've been making into action. Um, and also, of course, the romance card. So this could be a message coming to you, good, positive, happy emotions. So it could be romantic related, of course, but I like to keep the cups a little bigger than that. And that, this might be you doing something heroic. This might be you giving someone else positive energy that they may be lacking. It could be sharing, giving a gift, being generous, all of these kinds of things, open emotional connection and progress on that path, whatever that means for you. So if there's a place you've been holding back, this is, time to move forward with expression of the feelings. And then um, to accompany this one, I have the Page of Swords. So in this deck, it's really interesting. The Prisma Visions makes a panorama, and this is the wing of a giant bird that spans over the courts and maybe even possibly into the 8 or 9, or the 9 or 10. So this Page of Swords always gives me Fool vibes, which I also, I read the Fool sort of in conjunction with the Page energy. This being out and maybe not literally outside, but that's what I always envision, that you're out in this open space, whether literally or figuratively, and you are open to receiving a muse. You're open to that inspiration. And again, we have swords. So to me, like the ace, this would be a new thought. But unlike the ace, the person's in the picture. So your feet are there under you, you're ready to go, and you're learning and ready to set out on this new path about a new idea. So together, these are very new energies, like a breath of fresh air. Though, like I said, the night is about having the resources to move forward a little quicker, make some progress, and the page is about is a step back from that. So I'm kind of reading these as two different things. Like maybe this is family connections, and maybe this is something about work or a creative endeavor that you've been brainstorming, or you're looking for something to be inspired about. I kind of am reading these as two different paths that you are wondering about lately. So hopefully that makes sense. You can let me know.
Awesome. Thank you, Deanne. And
Yeah.
I've got more of the same, but I'm trying to add a little bit to that. I got the King of Coins for you. This is the Crystal Magic deck. And the crystal on here for him is Peridot. I hope I said that right. Did I say that right, Deanne?
I've heard it both
Peridot?
ways. I say peridot, but I've heard it
Peridot.
both ways.
I love that. I love that. But the King of Pentacles is all about having, what he kind of saying what we were for the Emperor. It's kind of the same because he has done the hard work. So I think that you've been doing the hard work, and it's time to maybe do some more meditation and just kind of correlate those two together. Because guess what I got for the second card? Boom, I got the same exact card that Deanne got. This is the Page of Swords, and Desert Rose is the crystal for this one. So again, this for me is the learner, and someone who can learn being in the state of meditation, and also is about earthly learning too. So I think that you can learn things from self-help books that might come into play over this next week. So maybe take a look at that. And because it's about the student, the learner, and learning things. So that's what I've got. But we both got that Page of Swords. So I would write that down, Warrior Girl. You got a double right there. And that's
Yeah. And I'm kind
pretty
of
awesome.
like all of that, like stardust or whatever that's on the side of that card. Is that what that is? Like in her veil or something?
Yes.
So here, these are butterflies here. It's like a fiery energy, but then it turns into butterflies. So those butterflies
Wow.
scattering looks like that stardust to me, which is again really
Yeah.
interesting for the Page of Swords. Not something we usually see. That kind of plus the orange is really making me think about like all that sacral energy and creative energy.
Yeah.
So I think both of these, like that, it's so interesting that they're both in that color family that shows that creative side, even though we're in the swords. Because obviously, when you're creative, we usually think wands, but it still involves mind power, obviously. So, especially with the similarity between these two cards, it's like the
That's
butterflies
crazy.
are like the same shape as that stardust. So, looks like good
Perfect.
stuff.
Yeah,
Go for
definitely.
it.
Definitely, definitely. Okay, Warrior Girl says, thanks you rock love how both of your messages vibe. Yeah,
Good, good.
awesome. All right. And let's start that. We'll do a general reading for Grace.
Yay.
And is Grace, are you still here, my dear? I'm sure she probably is, but I'm just waiting to get that
Yeah.
notification here for her.
Get these shuffled up.
Yeah, good time to shuffle in between, right? Yes, she is here. And sent a token of appreciation earlier. Oh, thank you so much, Grace. You should let
Yeah,
me know. I didn't
nice.
see. But thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. And hello, Farida. And yeah, I will be actually doing a live at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time if you want to come back for them. But we do have quite our questions got filled pretty quickly, so but feel free to come back.
Ooh, Grace. Okay, so like Miss Tarot D, more like a double major. So I've had like double major, double court, double major, um, and then strength. And what did strength come with? Oh, then I drew Ace of Swords. Anyway, sorry, had to remember. Um, Hanged Man and the High Priestess. So let's start here. So a general. This this hanged man, I like to sometimes describe the hanged man as you're going to tap out enough. You just have to not care so much. Not to the point of being apathetic, but just not being bothered, right? Step back enough that you're just letting things flow by. And it's like, that's all right. Whatever's going by me, that's fine. Even if it's on your own table, right? Okay, this is the thought I'm dealing with now, and I'm going to release it. We can be meditative even when we're not sitting down meditating. So I might knock my water over on the counter and I just say, it's just water on the counter. Is minimal as you can be with the reactions. That's what I'm feeling with this. And it's a really intentional like backing out. I also will sometimes describe this card as like being in the lazy river. You just get on your inner tube and you just float down the river. You're going to end up at the end of it no matter what you do. If you stand up and try to walk, even with the current, that's still work you're doing that you don't have to work. You can just pop up in the inner tube and it just let the river take you down. So this is what I'm feeling. Tap out enough that you're not getting overwhelmed with details. Just let the things happen. And then I think the result of that is going to be this high priestess. So um, this is a person walking, she's holding a pomegranate, or they're holding a pomegranate. There are other, like maybe apple and pomegranate fruits in this shallow water, right? This person's just walking through. We have the slight light of the crescent moon guiding, and that's all you need, because the intuition is just going to take over. And so it's very much this just coming to me right now, this feels like sleepwalking and like more of this, but not, because feet are up here and now feet are walking. So you back out enough to just let things happen. And then when you find your feet again, just quietly walk through. No one has to know. It doesn't have to be a big announcement. Just quietly walk through to whatever it is you're working on. It's going to start out in the dark. It's going to start out with not a lot of attention on you, and just keep walking. And all the answers are within and are going to be found. Just now I'm thinking like Patsy Cline walking after midnight, right? It's just going to be
Okay.
tap out and then quietly go forward, and everything will just keep flowing.
Love that. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. So, what I got for you, Grace, is I got the Magician, and this is also from the Crystal Magic. Yeah. So, going forward, just you have all the things that you need to do anything that you want to do. So just keep going. You know, keep knowing inside that you are that badass, because you are, and you have that power to, it's like a superpower when you think about it. And I'm just thinking, like, I'm hearing empath, and I know you're an empath. I'm just hearing that Grace is an empath, and you have just to realize it, and maybe to go watch some videos on the empaths and what those superpowers are, because there are all kinds of superpowers. You have every single suit here that you have hold of that you can go forward with. Okay, and then for the advice card I pulled for you was the Eight of Stars, which is like the Eight of Pentacles. Okay, so that's work towards your goals. So you want to make sure that you're resting and taking care of yourself and not overworking. Okay, so I see that as the advice. And then at the outcome, you got the King of Wands. So very similar to what Deanne was saying, and how we got the King of Wands earlier. He is the one that speaks his truth, his integrity. And this is what the outcome's going to be, is you're just going to become a stronger person for the meditation that you do, and for the just recognizing who you are and how special that you really are. Okay, so that's what I got for you.
That's awesome. I love that Magician with the stars. And then the
Mm-hmm.
suit, the pentacles in that deck is also stars. So I feel like this is all very cosmic-y.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just like that anyway, but and then I also, it seems like my part of it was like the preparation of it, and like your part of it is like the work. You
The
know,
work, right?
clearing out first, and then you're going to be ready to go. Grace will be, powered up from the, tap out for a bit, chill,
Right.
and then it's like it goes into work mode, and the result is that King of Wands, like you said. So
Awesome. So yeah. So it says for the King of Wands. Correct me if I'm wrong. The crystal is Larimar.
yeah,
Did I say that right? And then for the Magician is Jade. So Jade for Grace. Okay, so
yeah,
this is
that
what.
Larimer for sure is like the opposite of what we would think for King of Wands, but I also noticed it was blue in color, right? The whole card. So it's
Yes, the whole card
um
is the color, I think, of the crystal.
yeah. So Grace is saying, she has the speaking engagement, she's overthinking. All of this is saying you can be the King of Wands, Grace, even if you're not, lighting the candle at both ends and burning yourself out and having all this fire energy. You can still speak and expand your thoughts and expand other people's minds and still be calm and meditative, and then that blue kind of vibe, which makes me think about the Hanged Man.
Yeah.
Just, you're going to get up there and speak, and everything is just going to come out like it should. You don't have to like fire forward and, write down 50 pages of notes. I feel like it's just like calm down and get up there. Like you could do it tomorrow and it will just happen. You're just going to say everything you need to say. It seems like that card that Scott pulled really kind of clicked that together for me, like a blue wands card.
And once you do that as well, I think you would look back on it and just say, "Why did I worry? Why
Right.
was I worried?" And I do that all the time as well. Well, I wasted a lot of time worrying on that. Why did I do that? So I think this is something that you can just cut that worry out, and you'll be able to, like Deanne said,
Yeah.
you'll be able to do it tomorrow. So
Yep.
no
That King of Wands
overthinking.
needs to chill out sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. All right. So thank you, Grace. And let's start that. Let's see what we're doing. Are you okay for time, Deanne?
Yeah, doing great.
Okay.
Baby's not crying anymore.
Awesome. It was like a 30-minute thing, like you said, probably.
Oh, not even. Yesterday it was. Today it was like 5, and then she was good. So.
Oh, that's cool. It's cool. Sip, sip, everybody. All right. What do you see for March for me? Wendy. And Wendy is here. All right. Wendy says I overthink all the time and analyze too much. Yeah. Yeah. Me too. Me too. Guilty.
That's my husband. I'm like, yo, you're too much.
You're like Jackie, because she'll hear me, overanalyzing and everything, and she's like, it'll be okay.
It was like this morning. He was going on about like this cold medicine and how this new one that I got him is different than the one he was taking, and it has twice as much as this active ingredient and whatever. And I'm like,
oh, wow.
Can you we just drink the medicine? Like, we don't have to, like, there's no test on it. You don't have to fill out the molecular structure of this cough medicine compared to the one you were taking yesterday. Like, if you just drink it, that'd be great.
Oh, and Jackie said that you're both Libras. Are you a Libra, Deanne?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's cool. Keep things balanced and to the point.
Right.
What is your husband, if you don't mind me asking?
Virgo.
Okay, I'm Scorpio, so it can be
very down into the earth. Like, even though Scorpio is a water sign, I always think about Scorpios digging down into the dirt, digging up, they're always like digging into what is my life really about, and like turning over the soil. And so I feel like, and Virgos are really grounded, like walking barefoot on the ground, doing every little detail, covering every square inch of space. And so I feel like Virgo and Scorpio are very like on the ground and like digging in. And sometimes we got to pull them up to meditate or read a
come back to earth now.
or something, yeah.
Gotcha. Thank you for sharing that. That's cool.
Yeah. Yay. Okay. I see Swampy saying that they are Virgo Libra cusp, and I actually am as well. I'm in like with that 4-day span of it. So yeah, I get you. So I have yet another double major. So for Wendy, the star, beautiful, rejuvenating, hopeful, positive change, expecting that the best is coming your way, knowing that you can fill up the jug and pour back in. It's this very balanced. You have everything you need, and you're giving back at the same time. Um, Stars shining above you, like this whole thing, right? Hopeful, especially if you've had a difficult time lately. There's this quote by Marie White, of creator of the Marielle. She says, in no, I can't think. Something about like in the darkness of the tower, um, you know, the light will lead you, home, something like this. I've read it so much I can't remember. It's on the cover of my Benebell planner from 2 years ago. So anyway, it's so in my mind that it's not in my mind. But like the light of the star will lead you home, right? That kind of feeling. So I also, the colors in this deck are great because it really makes certain things pop, like this bird in the tree back here. So like signs from your guides from the other side, and I don't know what your belief paradigm is and all that, but any kind of you know anything that you think might be a sign, it just is, right? So don't think too much about it. Especially we have this little red bird back here. This in the tarot, traditionally, historically, red is used as that life force energy, like the banner and the sun card. It's about It's about life and the vitality of life and what drives you. So here it's just a little bit of red in this blue, calming, refreshing space. But in this positive phase, think about what drives you, and think about those on the other side who are supporting you. We can always ask for their guidance and trust what we receive. Um, so there's that one, and then we have the Justice card. So this is the Libra card, by the way. Um, and in this depiction really makes me think of the Ace of Swords, except for here we have it in the hand, like we would have in the RWS for Ace of Swords, right? Um, we have a couple different colors balancing out here. So if there has been something that has been unbalanced, it's going to right itself. And this kind of goes in line with the positivity and hopeful change from the star. So for March, I see rejuvenation, feeling energized, feeling kind of re-upped and rebalanced. And then the Justice card is the more day to day part of it. I feel like this one's really spiritual, and this is the day to day. Things are going to right themselves. Things will balance out in March. And it may just be even this your driving energy going forward. Something's going to click into balance, and you'll be able to kind of head out on your way. So that's what I get for you. Um, yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. So I noticed that the star card that you showed had the star right above it and right above the head. And you got the same thing here, but this maybe a star, maybe the sun, but the sun is the star. So it's a star nevertheless. So
Yeah.
you have the Two of Swords here, and Deanne was talking all about balance. That kept running through my head as I was looking at these cards. Is balance is definitely needed for you, Wendy, I think, at this point. And sometimes it's hard to make a decision or get out of our head. And sometimes you just have to remove the blindfolds, or in this case, just remove the swords. And this card also, it means overthinking, but it can also mean, which you said that you do as well, just in the chat a few minutes ago. But this is also the card of peace, because
Yeah.
once you lift those up, then there is no more, getting in your head about it. You've made your decision, you've gone forward, and you'll have peace about it. So
Yeah.
this is take the blinders off so that you can see and then just go with the decision that your gut is telling you. And
Yep.
then you got the Seven of Swords, which is silver in this deck. The Two of Swords was obsidian. And so this is silver. So this just makes me think Seven of Swords as, something that you may have gotten into your head about again. And trying to maybe take too much, in from what other people are saying. I think you need to just be confident in who you are and what you have, and not feel like you need to go and be like this person or this person. Just be who you are, and just keep going forward, with everything. And I'm going to pull one more just because.
That's so
Oh,
awesome. I was
go
thinking
ahead.
about more crescent moon energy because you pulled the Two of Swords, and typically the crescent moon is there, and we have
Right.
all that water like we do in the star. But then your Seven of Swords had double crescent moons on it, and like
Yes, it
it's
does.
just really your read on that's really good. I think.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Got
Yeah.
that. And I pulled the future card for you. I pulled Wendy is the Knight of Cups. So a passion and going forward with love, just maybe even love coming in for you is what I'm seeing. So that's what I got for you.
Beautiful.
All right, let's see where we're at here. All right, we are good. Seashells, are you still here? Looking for seashells. Thank you, Wendy. She said the readings were wonderful, Deanne.
Yay.
For Wendy, perfect. And I think I said hi to you, Garnett, but if you didn't see me, hi. I'm glad you're here.
Okay. How fun this is. Okay, I swear to you. Double majors. These are not majors only decks, okay? We've seen a couple courts. I know you know that they're full decks. Okay. So the first card I got for Seashells is the Chariot. So this card is about progress, and sometimes we read it as quick progress, and that might hold true. But we can't forget that the Chariot is pretty heavy, and in the after tarot, you can see the people behind getting ready to lift this chariot up. There are people that are going to be helping with that, unless you read it like a completely spiritual thing, and it's just going to get up and go, and that's fine too. Um, it's weird that I'm saying that because normally I wouldn't say that. So pay attention to that, of that distinction of if someone is helping you to get this chariot going or if it's your own doing. And I think you'll know. Whatever your thought is about that, go with it. Don't be frustrated if whatever you want to happen for February takes a little bit longer, a little bit more, blood, sweat, and tears than you expect. It's all there and it's balanced out, but these are kind of statuesque, right? This sphinx power, and it's about that balance, but it's a little tough to get going forward. But you have the structure and everything you need, the resources to get you going forward, and it's going to happen. And we have this star canopy, which again brings in that cosmic vibe, brings in that cosmic energy. We have the crown with the star at the top, so we're thinking about that enlightenment that we see with a few different figures in the tarot, the infinity symbol on the lemniscate around the head of strength, the halo around the hanged man, things like that. We have our enlightenment really present, especially throughout the major arcana. And it's also said by some tarot theorists that seven is the end all be all number for tarot, that everything stems down from a seven. So there's just a little catch-all message for you, but just know that you've built up the chariot, you have the sphinx power that you need, you have the help behind you that you need, and things will start going. Especially when at this point you just kind of let things flow, because here we have temperance, which I was talking about earlier, being kind of like the big sister to the strength card. So this depiction of temperance is really beautiful because it's very abstract. We have a little golden cup here and a little golden cup here. So we have that mixing and that alchemy going on. And there's just all of this flow going back and forth. The water is going to end up in both cups. Everything is completely balanced. This is the hard work in this piece, and then everything's going to flow. So if you trust the structure that you have built, this then things will just go easily. We'll be in that easy meditative state of always responding appropriately that we need, and this is just only going to help you go further in this chariot.
Awesome. Thank you, Deanne.
Yeah.
Right. So I can pull these cards, and I was like, "Whoa, this is crazy." I kind of had the same reaction that Deanne had when she pulled hers. I was like, kind of laughing because you got the first one is the Knight of Swords, which is the Knight of Crystals in this deck. But this guy is going way too fast, and I think that this is something that maybe looking into what was said before. Getting to that place of temperance where everything is going to flow, because right after that you got the Knight of Stars, which is the Knight of Pentacles.
Nice.
This is the knight who goes slow and methodical, and
there we
slow
go.
and methodical, yep, just like the chariot, wins the race, right? It's like the tortoise and the hare. The tortoise wins because he starts out very slow, but he's observing everything that's going on, and he's also just taking his time, and he ends up winning because this guy just goes flying off into nowhere. So
right.
I think that you might have been going too fast with something, seashells, and just need to slow down and take it methodically and be like that chariot, just to push forward, but don't push too hard. Take care of yourself as you're doing that. So that's what I got
Perfect.
for you. And I think we have time for one more here. And then if I don't get to your question, I will definitely be back on. I would love to do questions for you tonight at 8 o'clock. So make sure you guys come back then. I don't think Beck is not here any longer. Is that correct, Jackie? Let me make sure. She was next. Is Beck still here? Beck had to go to work. Okay, I thought I saw something like that. So we'll take that down. And let's go to Samantha next. All right, a little message from Spirit for guidance. All right.
Oh, very good, Seashells. Glad it's resonating. And I am keeping an eye on chat, by the way, everyone. I'm just not always responding verbally, but I do see your feedback. So thank you so much.
And Samantha
talk
is here.
So I'm trying not to get too wrapped up in it. Okay, so I have not double majors, okay, but beautiful cards nonetheless. That would have been like really weird. Okay, so we have the Knight of Pentacles. And we just saw Scott's really gorgeous version of this card, and I do love the RWS now. It's what I started with a lot of years ago. And if you've been on my channel, you know that I wanted to look at a bunch of different things other than the RWS, and now I've kind of fallen in love with it again. My point being, the Knight of Pentacles is one of my absolute favorite cards in the RWS because I love this black horse so much. I just love this picture. So here, like Scott just was saying, it's about being practical, methodical, taking intentional steps towards your goal, and remembering how many different things the pentacles relate to: our physical wellness, our money and finances, our physical home, all of these things, our belongings, our possessions. What do you create? What do you cultivate with the resources that you have? So it could relate to any or all of those things. And then whatever this is a big project, because then we have the Nine of Wands, which is about protecting what you create, creating boundaries, kind of standing guard, not being paranoid, because look at all these beautiful flowers growing and flourishing around this. So it's not the like kind of doom and gloom of the RWS Nine of Wands where the person's kind of exhausted and standing there. It does represent an ending, but it can represent a beautiful ending where there are all these beautiful things to harvest. So stay the course, and then gingerly protect that which you create. That's what I would say here. And it does feel like very much like a passion project that comes out of this. Even if it starts out as something really practical, it's going to be something that kind of feeds that creative side in some way.
All right, love that. So yeah, the creativity, I definitely see. I've got the Empress here for you. So Samantha, I'm just thinking, being creative, nurturing yourself, and then you're able to nurture others, and just maybe honing in on. I'm hearing writing. If you like to write, music, there can be all kinds of forms of creativity that you can have, that you can express. So I see that, and then I got this one, which is the Page of Stars, which in this deck is the Page of Pentacles. This is the dreamer and the manifester, is how I see this card, because they are learning so that they can manifest what is being taught to them, what they're learning, what they're studying, and also, being able to manifest their dreams. So you can definitely do that. See how the Empress has her dress open. She's totally open and ready. She's ready for whatever comes her way. Right. So looking into the card like that, I think that you definitely, with both of these, have good things that are coming to you. And I just see, when you have was it a butterfly that she has on her? I'm not sure if it was a flower. Okay, it was a flower, and I was looking in and I saw something similar, is to see the stars on this one as well. So, and it's in a lot of them. And then you got the Empress, who's on a huge flower right here. It looks like she's on a lotus.
Yeah, and it reminded me of those flowers in the Nine of Wands, which is not usually something we have there.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. So lots of flowers for you. And I think this is going to be a great week for you. And Spirit's just saying for you to keep going forward and make sure you're nurturing yourself and taking care of yourself. And maybe hone into your creative side a little bit more with writing songs, listening to music, just something to kick your creativity up a notch. So that's what I got.
Nice.
And Deanne, we have time for one more. We have one more person.
Yes, I think so. My little battery saver just came on, but
okay.
I should be good.
You should be good. Okay. We will do Natalie's. I asked her to clarify the question, but I don't know if she wants a love reading or she's saying she would love a reading. Natalie, are you here? Don't see any response there. Hey, Beverly Davis, welcome. And Nancy from the situation. Go ahead.
Hi, Nancy. I was saying I'm just an unprepared child. I had to run downstairs with everything I could carry, and that did not include my charger, evidently.
No problem. Mine does that all the time as well. So I even have to change and put it on the charger and talk to the charger.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So it is a love reading.
Perfect. So I have, maybe not. I have a jumper, so I'm going to take that. So I have the moon, which for me, so I guess traditionally this can of course be about cloudiness, confusion, mystery, and that's valid. However, I also personally feel very empowered by the moon, so it's hard for me not to read that into things. So I just like to remind people that the light, it's about finding your way with the light that you have. So for a love reading, especially because this is the first card and then you'll see the card that's following up, trust the path that you're walking, even though it may not seem as well lit as you would like it to right now. Six of Chalices is the next thing coming. So this, we have the lotuses here. We have all this beautiful color coming into play, fulfillment, a sense of nostalgia and happy memories. And so I would say even to someone that you maybe already know, maybe not from like your past. I mean, it could be, but someone that you maybe already know, someone that you're comfortable with, and that you feel that that beautiful things could grow from that connection. That's what I'm seeing. Kind of wade through, use the light that you have, follow the path, see where that takes you, and trust those positive connections with someone that you already have, or something that's very familiar to you, someone that feels familiar in that way.
Awesome. All right. So, Natalie, what I got for you is the Queen of Swords. And this is the Queen of Clarity. I also think this is the Queen of being psychic. And I think this may be you, and you tuning into your gifts. Natalie has the new channel coming out. and she hasn't done anything yet with it. But I know there's all kinds of creativity that you have. Um, ideas for what this channel is going to be like. So I think that for a love reading, though, that this is saying, come forward and manifest what you want to have manifest, and make sure that the people that you may be around are the right people for you. And it's okay to question that and to look around. Now, I think in conclusion, though, you've got the Ten of Pentacles. So this is a happy home card as well. I see this as coming together with someone who is your true love. So, and you can have more than one true love. So you can have more than one soulmate. I really believe that. And this might be something new. And I think it may be with just with the colors and everything I'm seeing. I'm just feeling new. And there's also this huge blue background there.
Yeah.
It just reminds me of the throat chakra. So something that needs to be said, you know, that might be inevitable that you need to say to someone, just say it out of love.
Yeah.
And maybe it's time for you to move on. So sometimes that's what clearing your mind does. It gives you that strength to see what you need to do and how you need to move forward with love. So that's what I got for you.
Awesome.
All right. Well, Deanne, thank you so much for being here. We actually got all the questions, so we did perfect.
Awesome.
Hey, Nigra, welcome. We were just saying goodbye, but you guys, I will be back at 8 p.m. with the Power Animals. And Deanne, what have you got coming up soon?
I don't have anything on my own channel planned for right now. I could pop on at any time that I get kind of a free moment. I may be, I know Ginger had to leave, and so I don't know if this is super top secret, but my next collaboration little meetup is going to hopefully be with Ginger Faye. So I may be popping on there sometime in the next, I don't know when. But yeah, for anyone here today, thank you so much. Thank you, Scott, for having me. Everyone that subbed today, thank you. Feel free to check out the stuff I have going on. I'm still active with comments. If you leave me a comment and have a question or anything, I love to get back to you. So please do check out my stuff and let me know what you think.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate
Thank you.
And yeah, this has been great. So everybody have a wonderful day. I will see you guys back at 8 p.m. hopefully Eastern Standard Time, and we'll do some Power Animals for the week. And I hope everybody has a great afternoon. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.